Hello, everyone. This is a speedrun of Resident Evil 2. The scenario is Claire B. It is played on a PlayStation Portable, PSN download. The final time is 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 57 seconds. It is the current world record at the time of this recording. Also, I'm being joined by my good friend Ben here, who is...
Hi, how's it going?
Yeah, so, yeah. Say hi, Ben, you're on YouTube. Alright. So, yeah. This is like the second take of this commentary. Ben came in and crashed the stream. So now he's here. Now we're like writing this out. So what's up?
So what do you have over here? You're doing a clear run, right?
Yeah,
PSP?
it is Claire B. I'm gonna start by saying, like, this dodge over here is a zombie pattern that is only present in the Japanese version. After the first camera angle change, like, I edge it a little to the right.
Get it sharp.
Yeah, just edge it a little to the right, and then that way, because Claire's hitbox is smaller, she can just squeeze right around it.
Sharp.
Yeah. Sharp.
Sharp. Check cheese. Sharp. Cheese. You gotta get check cheese. You don't like some cheese. Sharp.
Yeah, Ben's about a bottle deep in whiskey.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's all good. It's all good. Anyway, so,
Sharp. I like that jelly one.
yeah, the Jillgasm.
Yeah. She's so beautiful.
Yeah, we're also, this is being recorded on stream in front of
I like Resident Evil. That's pretty cool.
But anyways, Claire B is the reverse scenario of Leon A. Claire B is different from Claire A in that Claire basically starts off on the other side of the wreckage, as opposed to Claire starting out close to the gun shop, like she does whenever you decide to play Claire first as like your first scenario. But also Claire has to fight a bunch of completely different bosses, including a sub-boss, which is a T-103 Tyrant, aka Mr. X. No, he's not. He's not Nemesis. He's not,
What is the dude with the claw that's like they can start slashing shit, right?
well, he does transform into one of those later. Anyways, the first Mr. X dodge here, we're gonna hold up and left, bounce off the wall, and whoop, and he misses. That dodge works about 66% of the time. It's a little bit difficult to explain what's going on here. It was a Japanese player named Jika-chan who found that dodge. No idea how or why it works, but it just works. So, if you ever wanted to know how to dodge Mr. X, that's how you do it. Also, thank you so much, Forever Delicious, for being sub number 900. Twitch sub number 900. We just finally unlocked that other remote slot. Thank you so much, Forever Delicious. Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay. I mean, this is gonna be like, you know, a little, you know, like this commentary is gonna be like, you know, about as informal as it gets, you know, simply because there's just gonna be a lot of dead sections in the run, I guess, where there's like not much to talk about, so, you know, whatever. I'll just like shoot the shit. It's cool. So this these zombie dodges over here, there's only 3 zombies over here as opposed to 5 zombies in the US version. So you can squeeze by these first two zombies as long as the zombie closest to the unicorn medal is slow. And you dodge between those, you grab the unicorn medal, and on the way back, what I like to do is I like to hold up and left and run. Somehow it just sets me up so that I'm able to just muscle my way around that zombie and then take the reverse path back out. I want to be able to take as little damage throughout the RPD as possible, because Claire does not get the free heal that Leon does, 1, and 2, because I don't want to have to go out of my way to pick up any first aid sprays or anything like that. Yeah, too much. Yeah, well, more importantly though, it's a bigger waste of time because you have to not only spend 3 seconds picking up the first aid spray, but another 2 seconds, actually using the first aid spray, so obviously you want to heal as little as possible. The time loss in Resident Evil 2 compounds a lot, especially since caution in Resident Evil 2 means that you are going to have 5% lower foot speed, so you lose a lot more time per room. You'll also notice that I did not pick up the grenade launcher yet. I do pick up the grenade launcher, but it's not until I'm sort of on my way out of the police station. Yeah, well, I mean, it's mostly to keep my inventory free and, make it a little easier to use some key items throughout the RPD, but it also sets up my grenade launcher for easier inventory management in later parts of the scenario. Also, Claire has to get the spade key, unlike in Leon B. Leon B can just straight up skip the spade key because all the spade key does is give you a first aid spray, where Claire just picked up the lighter here. But of course Claire needs the lighter because of this room coming up right here. So chat is actually asking some questions, and I'll just kind of answer them as I move along, then I'll just kind of shoo it in. Random question, but doesn't Chris run faster than Jill in Resident Evil? Does the same apply for Leon in comparison to Claire in RE2? I'm actually not so sure, but I think Claire might actually run a little bit faster than Leon. Not 100% sure on that, though. Need to do a lot of testing for that. Oh, no, they actually have the same amount of health. Okay, so this dodge over here, there is a faster dodge I could do where if the zombie reacts fast enough and it spins fast enough towards me, I can just run right around it. But I opt for a safer dodge for consistency's sake, where I just bait out the grab and run around him. Also, Forever Delicious, thank you so much again. And everyone, thank you so much for everyone's support this whole time.
Yay, word. Yo, shoutouts to iFix Machine. Yeah, that shit.
Also, shoutouts to iFix Machine.
Yeah, shoutouts to you for helping them out. Yeah, word, good shit, man.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm good.
That's pretty cool.
Anyways. So there's nothing that we have to grab in the STARS office except for the diamond key. It's just, cutscene exactly as it is in Leon A.
It's good to see you're still among the living. It looks like we're not gonna find your brother here after.
66% of the time that Mr. X dodge works every time. It sure does.
There's no reason for us to stay any longer than necessary. Let's split up, look for any survivors, and get out of here.
Right.
One last thing. Here's a radio. Take it. That way we can keep in touch if anything
That's
happens.
pretty cool acting, I guess.
So what?
Back then in the acting days, out in the 90s when these games came out, it looks like a High School Musical play. Because of the whole voice acting and all that stuff.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit,
But I mean, yeah, it's kind of a bit of a B movie touch to it that you're never gonna see anywhere else.
Yeah.
This zombie over here is because the zombie appears immediately as soon as you're getting out of the STARS office, and we're not following Sherry. That zombie is kind of mean. He's blocking our view, so sometimes I kind of mess up on the turning on the way out of that room. Yeah, it's a little awkward. Like, sometimes I can't see exactly how far I'm turning before I move. Also, Claire does not push objects as far as Leon, so a little slightly different on the pushing here.
That's a trade-off on it then.
Yeah, there's a few trade-offs between
different characters, different person, all that.
yeah, different scenarios, different like physical stats, as it were.
Word. That's cool.
Different animations, different weapons, basically just different everything. So, I mean, while one could simply just run Leon A and call it a day, I feel as though if one's going to speedrun Resident Evil 2, yeah, they should just speedrun all of them.
Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, it's just
more
every option. I mean, why not?
Yeah, it's just more fun that way.
Yeah.
Chris actually does run slightly faster than Jillian Remaster, yeah. So, in Leon A, when setting up for a Claire B save, we actually want to leave Marvin alive, because then that dead body there still remains headless. You can just pass right around it, but of course if you kill Marvin, then that zombie will be alive, and of course you'll have to take a bite in order to get the detonator.
It's a time loss.
Yeah, it's a time loss. So yeah, you have to be aware of certain things in the A scenarios to set up for a B scenario file. So, you know, you actually do that like separately from a speedrun. Even though this is technically a new game, we're not using the infinite rocket launcher, so that makes, even though there's things that we have to do to set up an optimal B scenario save, which could kind of sort of slightly fall under New Game Plus jurisdiction, it's only New Game Plus if you use the infinite rocket launcher. But anyway, this Licker over here, sometimes if you dodge around him at like the right line, then he'll kind of bug out and start running towards the other side of the room, making it easy to just grab the half of the Jaguar stone without getting tagged by him. But because it didn't quite work out that way, and the Licker was just like throwing attacks around and missing, actually got pretty lucky there. Played this game for years and had no idea about the Marvin thing. Yeah, the Marvin thing is Marvin thing is a little
I'm terribly sorry. I thought you were another one.
I don't know, there's like a lot of weird differences between
Are you Chief Irons?
Yes, that's me.
A scenarios and
Just
B
who are
scenarios.
you?
In Resident Evil 2, you have the things that you do in the A scenarios will directly
makes no
affect what happens in the B scenarios.
You'll end up just
Like for instance,
all
the
others.
submachine gun in the basement, or the side pack. If you pick up both of
That's the
those,
mayor's daughter.
then they won't be
I
present
was
in Claire
told
B,
to look
for
after
instance. Or
But
depending
I
on where you
failed
put the cable
miserably. Just
on the
look at
shutters
her.
in the A scenario,
She was a
zombies
true
will either appear or not appear
skin
whenever you go to the
short
library.
of perfection. But it will soon putrefy, and she will turn into a zombie within the hour, like all the others.
Also creepy
There
ass
must be
Chief
some way to
Irons.
stop it.
In a manner of speaking, there is.
He's talking about
Either by
talking about
putting a
stuffing
bullet
the
through
mayor's
her
daughter
brain,
taxidermy.
That's kind of
or
fucked up.
by decapitating her completely.
Yeah. Early Resident Evil games actually had some pretty messed up bad guys.
That is a little bit fucked up.
And to think
Yeah.
that taxidermy used to be my hobby.
I'm gonna fuck him up.
But no longer.
What?
Because it's a little bit fucked
I'd
up. 'cause
really
it's
like to
fucked
be
up, 'cause
alone
I'll fuck
now.
him up because it's fucked up.
Yeah, we'll roll with that.
No, it's kind of, yeah. I mean, nowadays, yeah, you have like this pedophilia fucking this chick, and like that's not cool, man. Like, I'll fuck him up for doing that. That's kind, or like just dumping somebody's body. That's like desecrating somebody's. Yeah, that's messed up, and like I wouldn't want to do that. Like that's so cruel.
Yeah, no, it
fucking
is,
hella cool.
it is. Fortunately, Chief Irons gets his just desserts later.
Let me go.
Fuck that guy.
Easy, easy there. I'm not a zombie. You're safe now. My name's Claire. What's yours?
Sherry.
Do you know where your parents are?
They both work at the Umbrella Chemical Plant, near the city limits.
The chemical plant? Then what are you doing here?
My mom called and told me to go to the police station because it was too dangerous to stay at home.
From the look of things, I'd say she was probably right. But it's dangerous here as well. You'd better come with me.
But there's something out there. I don't know what it is, but I saw it. Much larger than any of those zombies. And it's coming after me.
What was that?
That's what I was telling you about. It's here.
Sherry, wait!
So, yeah, Ben's really excited because the computer shop.
It's open, yo. I like computers.
Yeah, the computer shop that we
Fuck everybody
frequent.
else, I like video games.
It's like computer shop slash arcade. It's a cool place.
Chief?
Sometimes I do my streams out of there.
You got like a nice little computer shop, you got like retro game and all that shit.
Yeah, computer shops, retro games,
Yeah, and streaming and all that shit.
PVMs.
PVMs, yo, PVM every day, yo, your boy, we get the RGBs.
Yeah,
Yep.
RGB monitors are
All day,
RGB monitors are my jam.
retro game.
Yeah, just not too terribly much happening in this particular section on the way down. There's about there's one dodge. It's just a dog. So I put the depending on where you put the cable, it will force zombies to come in either through here and flood into the adjacent rooms. In the A scenarios, it doesn't really matter too much, like the zombies flooding in, but zombies will repopulate. Like basically in the B scenarios, if you put the cable in a place where zombies will flood into the area, then not only will zombies repopulate the room that the cutscene shows them flooding into, but it will also repopulate with zombies in the 2 rooms around that room.
Sherry, I've been looking everywhere for you. I was so worried.
Sherry's voice actor played Wanda in the Magic
We've got
School
to go
Bus.
now, honey, okay?
Really?
If we stay here, that monster
I did not
will
know
find
that.
us. Let's go.
Sure, that's cool.
No,
That's weird.
I won't.
It was what, Lisa Wong
What's
or
the
something
matter?
like that? That's so weird.
Don't you trust me?
I guess it's not that weird.
That, Claire. It's because of my daddy.
Claire is
He's over
also-
there. I heard him call my name.
Claire is also Lunette the Clown in the big comfy couch.
Daddy must have been attacked by the monsters. I have to help him.
Not entirely related to RE2, but I remember during an older Zero run, Carsey found a file
Wait,
that
Sherry,
mentioned
don't go
a
alone.
William Barkin. Was that some sort of
Sherry,
translation error?
Sherry!
Yeah, actually it is, because in, like, William Birkin's, the pronunciation of William Birkin's name in Japanese is Williamu Bakin, and in katakana, that would be Bakin. So, if it's like a direct phonetic translation of the katakana into English, then it would be William Barkin. So, yeah, it was a bit of a translation error. Also, zombies are in this area when you play as Sherry in B scenario. Because Sherry is so tiny, zombies just puke. They just puke, so. I should probably be interacting with chat a lot more whenever I do commentary like this.
Fuck you guys, I'm being antisocial right now.
I mean, because it's kind of known by now that whenever I do all my commentaries, it's always like on Twitch. like in front of Twitch chat. And I don't know, it's like I kind of have like this whole focus on like, you know, being like quiet, only talking whenever I should talk, you know, stuff like that. But you know, it makes more sense. It made more sense for like the no damage runs. Like since I already recorded runs like that where I don't talk during the cutscenes, you know, it's totally fine.
What's insights to the game though? Like how many people watch speedrunning? It's pretty cool. Like you got tech going on and all that shit. Why not? Fuck it. Why not? This is content.
Yeah. Content B. Content.
Who else? Than who? Nobody else. Just saying.
Claire! Are you there?
Sherry, are you okay? Did you find your dad?
Yes, I'm okay.
Probably
But
got.
I couldn't find him. But I did find something
Yeah, no,
else
I need
for
to.
you. Here.
I need to clean out my office big time.
Thanks, sweetie. Now, why don't you come over here? I want you to stay with me.
Claire! I can't reach the ventilation hole anymore. But don't worry, I'll find another way. I can take care of myself.
25 years old now.
Wait, Sherry, come
25
back.
years old.
Sherry! Sherry!
Yeah, T-Rex 25.
Do you read me, Claire? We now have access to the back of the parking lot.
Got it.
I'm getting out of here and heading to the sewer. Can you meet me there?
I'm on my way.
So there's dogs over here. They jumped over the rails. We're just gonna run forward, and the second dog, we kind of have to pay attention to what direction that dog moves, depending on whether he looks to the right or to the left.
That's right. Yeah. Sorry, dude.
Alright, you're headed out?
Yeah.
Alright. Good to see you, man. I'll catch up with you later, okay? Alright. Bin is out. So these dogs over here, in order to get through that room, literally all you have to do is hold up until you hit the door. I'm just gonna like slant to the right here to get around this dog. Go around this corner here. Sometimes that dog will run. Fortunately, this run, he didn't start running, so we were able to take a better line around, because in that room I want to avoid getting hit by the dogs in general. Because if I get hit by one dog, then chances are I'll probably get hit by more dogs. Zombie dog over here, just scooch out of the way. I'm also not using the club key to unlock doors. Because there's no reason to ditch the club key in those instances. So this dodge over here, because Claire has a thinner hitbox, we can actually take a slightly riskier dodge and have a significantly higher chance of pulling it off, as opposed to Leon B. But basically for that dodge earlier, what I had to do was just pre-turn a little bit, then hold up and left, and I just kind of muscle my way around that zombie. Mr. X just kind of bashes his way in. Don't gotta worry about him. Just exit. He's gonna bust out of here again. We're just gonna kind of hug the wall on the way out. Now for that dodge over there, just kind of squeeze in between those two zombies. And the last zombie, I could have actually probably taken a faster dodge and just squeezed in between him and the door and just gone right through the door, but I decided to play it safe because the zombie was already angled towards the trajectory that I was going to take to the door, so kind of took a longer dodge around him. Also grabbing the grenade launcher on the way out as I needed to. Regarding the concept of Resident Evil 1.5, are there any noticeable similarities to that in what was released with RE2? They actually had very similar scenarios in mind. The only difference is, Robert Kendo, the gun shop owner, and Marvin are characters that lived for a significantly longer period of time. And they would pretty much follow you all the way to the lab. So other police officers, there were other characters that got scrapped who would die instead. I don't know, it's kind of tough to tell. There were two builds of Resident Evil 1.5, a 40% build and an 80% build. But everything I know about Resident Evil 1.5 comes from a leaked 40% build. It would have been really neat to see elements from that. Okay, so this dodge over here for Mr. X, all you have to do is whenever this cutscene ends, hold up and left and run. And he whiffs 100% of the time. In the GameCube version, you have to wait until the cutscene is finished, because if you do not, then Mr. X starts on a completely different frame of animation, at which point the dodge will not work. The liquor over here, to get around him, whenever I round the corner, I face directly towards him. Because I'm already running, the liquor is clicking around, I'm guessing using like echolocation or something to try and feel out where I am. But then when he hears me, he knows I'm like running directly towards him, then it gets him to jump. I don't know, liquor AI is a little difficult to figure out.
Claire!
Sherry, you're okay.
I'm glad to see you're safe, Claire.
But yeah, on the subject of Resident Evil 1.5, I'll probably do a playthrough of the 40% build. And upload it to YouTube at some point.
I'm going down there. Stay here and wait for me, okay?
Leading up to the boss fight, mostly cutscenes. If anyone in chat has any questions about the run so far,
So you've made it this far. Not bad, girl.
I will be more than willing to answer
Anyone leave
right about
my
now.
town? Everyone's gonna die.
Calm down, Chief. What
Micaiah asks, so the 80% build is not a thing?
Couldn't possibly understand what's happened. Those monsters from Umbrella
I think nobody has
have
tracked it down.
destroyed my beautiful town. How could they do that to me after everything I've done for them?
Is what it comes down to.
So it's true. You have been working with Umbrella. Then you must know about the G-Virus. What is it? Tell me!
If you must know, it's the agent that can turn humans into the ultimate bioweapons. Superior to the T-Virus in every way. Dr. William Birkin is the genius behind the project.
William Birkin?
I'm sure you've already seen his little girl running around here somewhere. Sherry, isn't it? In case you haven't already figured it out. The monster that's been tearing my precinct apart is yet another product of the G-Virus. An ultimate bioweapon. Umbrella
Have you seen the Resident Evil 2 board game? To know if you're into that kind of thing. Oh yeah, the Resident Evil 2 board game was announced, and they were saying that you could speedrun it. That's so silly.
What the?
It's so silly. I love it. I love it so much that I'm going to buy 10. Also, this is my favorite cutscene in the game. Well, favorite death in the game, rather. But it may as well be my favorite cutscene. It is quite certainly the most gruesome death in the game. Being ripped in half from the inside is pretty bad. But then you get to see Chief Irons ripped in half from the outside. This fight over here, you just have to fire 5 times and then turn around and run. Like you're probably wondering, well, Carcy, he didn't die, or at least I didn't visibly see him die. Well, he has one final attack that he does, and then he falls over the edge. And that's his death animation, but it happens when he's at 0 HP. When he's at 0 HP, you can just leave and come back.
Claire, you came back.
I can't believe the man who developed the G-Virus is actually her father.
What's wrong, Claire?
It's nothing. But I think I found a way out of here. We should be able to find someplace safe if we can just make it out of town.
But
Don't worry.
Doesn't William have an insta-kill move where he holds the bar over his head for a few seconds?
Make sure you don't leave my side.
Yes he does, but I think it only happens if he's already knocked you down, which the pipe can do. But it takes a really long time for him to wind up for it, so as long as you're quick on the mash and as long as you're quick on getting up, then it shouldn't kill you. But yeah, it's very much like the follow-up attack from the hunters in Resident Evil Remake. Like hunters in Resident Evil Remake, they'll pretty much always follow up with an instant kill after the first attack. Hunters in Resident Evil Remake love that instant kill attack. I guess it's pretty fair though, because pretty much every weapon outside of the handgun does pretty significant hit stun, so...
Come on, let's get out of here.
Claire?
Run! Sherry, where are you? Sherry!
Birkin will use the pipe instant kill if you are knocked to your knees. You can recover from it at any health above danger. Alright, well that makes sense. I actually don't get hit by the pipe, mostly because I just use the 5 acid rounds in pretty much every encounter where I fight Birkin. Also, the B scenario, you encounter Leon here
What happened?
after you
You're bleeding.
got shot by a net.
I ran into this woman who was in trouble. Her name's Ada. Right after that, someone tried to kill me. Nearly succeeded, too. Ada went after the sniper, but I'm worried about her. You gotta find her before something happens.
But you've been shot.
I'll be okay. It's Ada I'm worried about.
I should also mention that running with the grenade launcher equipped actually does affect Claire's foot speed. So she does run a little bit slower, but it's not worth it to go into the inventory to unequip. If you're going to unequip the grenade launcher, then it's going to be better to just do it in the menu while you're using another key item.
Are you all right? What happened?
Get away from me. You just want my husband's G sample, don't you? But no one will take that away from me. No one.
Husband? Then you must be Annette.
Huh? How did you?
We don't have time for that. Sherry is lost somewhere in the sewer system. I have to find her.
What? I told her to go to the police building. Why is she here? Now Sherry and the G sample are both in danger.
What did she mean by that? Does Sherry have the G sample?
So after I use the valve handle here to lower the bridge, is a good time to unequip the grenade launcher. See if we can't regain some of that movement. We're also grabbing those flame rounds there for use against the next boss coming up. Also, you're probably wondering why wasn't there an alligator? It's because I killed the alligator in Leon A. And when I loaded the Claire B save, the alligator is not there. The alligator will appear in Claire A. Yeah, by the way, if you haven't played the B scenarios, you basically missed out on getting the true ending, so go do it. You're missing like half the game. I know it seems kind of weird that you have to quote-unquote beat the game 4 times in order to really beat the game, but it's kind of the case with Resident Evil 2. There's also another box of flame rounds on the corpse over there that we grab. I combine the flame rounds here and equip the grenade launcher while I'm going to use the wolf metal and eagle metal. This exact menu is actually why I grab the grenade launcher coming out of the RPD as opposed to the first time that I see it in the RPD. Everything about the Claire B run just feels really clean compared to the other scenarios, which is why I like it so much. Alright, because this section is just cutscenes here, I'm gonna answer a question that is kind of unrelated. At CarcinogenSDA, did you get an SNES Classic / do you even want one?
You're okay.
Yeah, I have one. They're pretty sweet. There's about like a couple of frames of input delay.
G-virus? Either a vial or a test
As long as you
tube?
play it on a legless monitor, it plays pretty nice.
I've never heard of anything like that before.
Are you absolutely sure? If you give it to me, I'll hold on to it for safekeeping.
But I really don't have anything. It's the truth.
But why would her mom say something like that?
So just gonna kind of walk a little bit, because now that Sherry's following us, we have to actually wait for her to come around the corner before we can move again. General rule of thumb for moving around while Sherry is following you is you stop and you wait for Sherry to appear on camera before you run. Also, those the zombies that I shot there were pretty much directly in the way, so you pretty much need to shoot them. You could theoretically dodge around them with Claire, but I'm not really sure you want to do that.
Sherry, wait here. I'm going to check it out by myself.
Okay, I'll wait here, but hurry back.
That's the first aid spray that we get throughout the course of the entire run. Also, another thing about Sherry running behind you is it's actually a little easier to dodge those zombies because you have to wait for Sherry to follow up anyway. Otherwise, you can't go through the room. So I was able to take my time and be more careful on zombies. Also, Mr. X just randomly appears there, semi-randomly, but it's all good. Just take the punch and go. you don't even waste that much time taking the punch, even though you can save about 1 or 2 seconds by baiting out a dodge, which it is possible to do, but I have not figured out how to do it with that particular encounter. I also grabbed the acid rounds here. I don't bother with that other flame round.
Okay, Sherry, let's go.
The reason I grabbed the flame rounds on the corpse earlier as opposed to those flame rounds here is so that I wouldn't have to combine them again. I'd say it saves about a second doing it that way.
Claire? What was that?
Don't worry. Just wait here. I'll go and see what it was.
I think Ben's back. Oh, uh-oh. You forgot your phone and you forgot this. Alright. Take care, man. Alright, so we have the flame rounds equipped here already. What I do here is I fire off 5 flame rounds to be on the safe side. And depending on the pattern he takes, you can actually fire off 1 more, but I have to do a little bit of fancy footwork here. I fire off 2 more shots, and then on the last pass is when I just unload into him. So it is possible to do this fight a little bit faster. Two cycles instead of 3, but
Isn't this...
That's
because I was
okay.
on such good
You
pace,
keep it.
I decided
I'm
to
sure
just
it'll
play
keep
it
you
safe.
Wait here for me, okay?
Just as
I'm
well
going
anyway,
back to look for
because I'm pretty sure I got bad
Thanks,
RNG on that fight,
Even though I'm an only child, neither
and
of my
Birkin was not
parents
in
ever
a
said
favorable
anything
position
because of their work.
for me to fire off a 6th shot. I think
now that
I
you're
missed
with me,
hit stun, or
I
maybe
finally
he
have someone to rely upon.
or maybe he didn't move in a certain direction.
Sherry.
Give the kid a dorky vest. Well, I mean, Claire's goddess protected her, though. Actually, in the novel, there's a pretty cool explanation behind the Made in Heaven design. One of the things I like about the S.D. Perry novels is they add a certain human element to the characters that I actually really like. Claire states that Chris has a jacket with the same design, and she likes it because her brother kicks ass. And she wears the same logo on the back of her vest because she feels like she can kick ass with it. So, pretty neato. The line I took over here, sometimes the first licker will slash, but in general, I had pretty good luck coming back through. It doesn't really matter too much if I take damage coming through here. Even if I do take too much damage, I still have a first aid spray to back me up. I don't actually remember what the exact damage values are for super lickers, but I think after you fall below a certain damage threshold, you start to take 12 damage as opposed to 22 damage. But But at that point in the run, I only took like 45 damage from Mr. X's right-hand punch. So there's a very minor glitch here, a very minor time-saving glitch here. During the cutscene where you're pushing the button, you can actually hold R1 and Claire will aim. Doing so puts Claire towards the right of the door, which is a lot closer to the door, as opposed to teleporting in the center of the room. Also, that dodge, as you saw, I just hugged the wall and spun around and shot the zombie with the flame rounds. Even if that zombie is still alive, because flame rounds don't always kill zombies, the zombie will fall in front. So, you pretty much just run behind the zombie. Also, I unequipped the grenade launcher here. I'm pretty sure that I wasn't supposed to unequip the grenade launcher. Do I re-equip it? I think I re-equip it. Don't you start limping in danger for Resident Evil 2? Yes. It is safe to assume that by the time you are in danger, the run is over. Why is this done twice if Leon already did this? Because video games, that's why. But the reason I needed to keep the grenade launcher equipped is specifically so that I could use the elevator glitch. I preemptively unequipped the grenade launcher where I was not supposed to. The way I do that dodge is I run 5 steps, then walk around the corner along the outside corner of that turn, and then I start running, and usually both of the lickers behind the first licker that drops out of the air vent jump whenever I hit their respective camera angles. I had bad luck and I got slashed once. It's not terrible that I got slashed there, but it could have been pretty ugly. If the other licker spun around and decided to head chop me. Sometimes they like to do that. Hit me with a head chop when I'm already in hit stun from a licker slash from the floor. Also, I should mention, naked zombies do 45 damage a bite, so it's a pretty big deal that we dodge those guys.
Annette!
Where's Sherry?
There's a lot of cutscene from this point on.
But I asked her, and she's never even heard of the G-Virus before.
Which room? Tell me. Sherry!
No! Annette!
The sample's inside the pendant Sherry's wearing.
So on the way out is another dodge here. I believe it was found by Magnuzel. Walk, run. Yeah, it didn't quite work out. Oh wow, I actually did that dodge. Amazing. That's the only time that I've actually pulled that off. So, I was already in caution, and then I heard the other liquor winding up. I figured that because that liquor was at a range where he very well could have hit me and ended the run. Like I went into the inventory like as soon as I heard the and healed immediately because, you know, that was a pretty do or die situation. The run almost ended there. Almost. And that was like the last enemy dodge that could have given me any significant trouble. But I mean, I was pretty much poised to use the first aid spray there anyway. Also, I run 3 steps, and on the 3rd step, I do a hard left and hug the wall to get around that guy. But that was, yeah, that whole situation was pretty do or die. So I ran the innermost line, hoping that I would be able to cut past the liquor before his active damage frame started up. Because I'm pretty sure that the actual hurt box would have been on the right side of the liquor, so I got pretty lucky there. So I pushed that 4 times. This box over here, there's an interesting little graphical glitch here that only happens on the PlayStation version of the game. You can see the bottom of the box doing a little bit of Z fighting due to the way the PlayStation renders graphics. But, actually what I was supposed to do was push it until, like, a larger portion of the box got solid. So I could have actually saved about 3 more seconds here or so. You have a little bit more leeway to mess up this glitch here, because Claire's hitbox is thinner. So I kind of lucked out a little bit.
Sherry!
Help me, Claire!
The monster's after your pendant. Throw it to me! Good girl. Now run, Sherry. As for you,
So an interesting question. I know in the first 3 games, a few animations are recycles: the Rebecca death, the Ada death, and the Murphy death.
Right.
All share the same distraught reaction from the character.
Sucker.
I'm not really sure. I haven't really noticed that, but it's an interesting observation. I'll have to like watch those cutscenes again just to see what you're talking about. But Capcom has been known to reuse a lot of assets.
Sherry? Where are you? Sherry! Where
There's a
is
self-destruct in nearly every goddamn game. It's true. I think the only game, like the only main series game where there's no self-destruct mechanism thing happening at the end of the game is, well, actually Resident Evil 6 I suppose counts, because nothing really self-destructs except when you're playing as Chris. And also Resident Evil 7. I mean, the guest house pretty much explodes because Evelyn is smashing the crap out of everything. Hey, who knows? Maybe when Not a Hero happens, we'll actually see that. Also, the previous cutscene unequipped the grenade launcher, so we can't use the weapon glitch here. Not unless we actually want to waste more time. And the zombies in this room also despawn.
Mom! Mom!
Sherry, you have to escape. I know I've been a terrible mother, but I still love you. Forgive me.
It's actually pretty amazing that Annette was able to live that long with a severe hematoma like that.
Sherry, we have to go now.
Or should I say with a fractured skull from that pipe that dropped on her in Leon A. You know, stop and wait for Sherry to come onto the camera angle before running again. But overall, I mean, did really good on damage. Only had to use one first aid spray. Which is pretty much the outer limits of how far I'm willing to go to optimize health conservation. Of course, whenever I decide to finally run the PC version, I'm going to be held to a much, much higher standard. Fine by me, but that's pretty far off. I'll take this short, sweet victory.
I'll go and get this thing moving.
They didn't do so good with the audio mixing in Resident Evil 2 on PlayStation. The music just straight up overpowers some of the dialogue. So for the Super Tyrant fight, Claire actually has a pretty unique strategy. I believe it was found by a Japanese player named Pekoron. Shoutouts to Pekoron, by the way. Very, very good variety speedrunner. Runs a lot of RE2 Knife, but also ran Clock Tower 3 and Haunting Ground. Very, very swell fellow. Very nice guy. But the strategy goes a little something like this. Gotta equip the grenade launcher with the acid rounds, and then we're going to backpedal after this cutscene a little bit. Like, we're going to literally hold back for like a step. Claire's hitbox is just small enough to be able to back up one step. Oh, it actually failed for me that time. I was supposed to back up a little more. I got chain slashed there. I just barely had enough health. I was still in fine. Even after that, I usually like to run over this way before I fire off the rocket.
Lose, big guy.
Because if the spacing is wrong, then Mr. X will be in the middle of an AI change. And basically, if you fire at Mr. X at exactly the wrong range, then the cutscene will not happen whenever you fire off the rocket launcher. And instead, the rocket will just pass right through Mr. X. It's a pretty nasty bug. It's happened to me quite a few times on both the PSP and on GameCube. I have a nasty habit of making that thing happen. was pretty sloppy Mr. X fight. Obviously, I could have saved a lot more time there. Never mind. I thought my Mr. X fight was clean, but now that I see it again, it's pretty awful. I'd say it's probably like the only significantly bad part of the run. Maybe if I revisit this run, I'll come back, clean it up a little bit. How many times have you beat this game? I'd say in the neighborhood of something like 200 times, maybe. I actually have no idea. But it might be closer to like 300, 400.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
It's over.
No. I have to find my brother.
You're right. This is just the beginning.
My God has protected you. It will always be with you.
Claire.
Sherry.
I suppose I'll figure out whenever I reach the pearly gates.
What was that?
Warning, biohazardous outbreak imminent. The emergency
So one of the
system
most
has been
significant
activated.
reroutes,
This train will detonate.
which I believe was found by SuperGamer56. Rest in peace.
No! What's wrong with this thing?
I don't know. The door won't open.
We actually skip some ammo pickups, and instead we use the rocket launcher to drop his HP. But before that, we're going to squeeze in between the tentacles and the wall. First, we're going to fire the rocket and equip the grenade launcher. Then we'll wait for Birkin to retract his tentacles. You can see that there's no active damage frames on those tentacles there, so we're able to just wedge ourselves between the boss and the wall. There's no kill animation programmed for that either, like there is with the alligator. So we're able to just keep firing at him. Sometimes I even quick shot there. My quick shots are very, very inconsistent, so I generally don't use quick shot in my runs. But that's it. That's Claire B in 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 57 seconds.
Warning, warning. The self-destruct system has been activated. Each train compartment will detonate sequentially. Repeat, each train compartment will detonate sequentially.
Leon, stop the train!
I can't. The door to the control room is locked.
What is it?
Sherry, get back! That's what I call ugly. Claire! Where are you?
That's what I call ugly.
You don't give
Sherry! What are you doing?
We have to stop the train, right? I can do it.
Sherry! Persistent, aren't you? Well, come and get it!
Which one's the right switch? Maybe this one?
Sherry!
Claire! Ah!
Can't hold on much longer.
Push the switch over there!
Got it!
Oh, finally.
Are you okay, Sherry?
I'm okay.
Where's Leon? Leon? Leon!
Right here.
Leon!
You're both safe. Just die. We've got to get out of here. Move it! Go! That was a close one. That was pretty impressive back there, Sherry.
It was nothing. I saw someone do that on TV once.
Come on. We've got to move out.
Now what's the problem? Is something following us?
Hey, we still have a job to do. Let's go.
Go? Oh, you can't mean...
Chris, I have to find you.
And there we have it. Oh yeah, one more trick that I forgot to mention. Like I don't generally talk about it too much because I don't use it a lot. Quick shotting. In order to do it, what you do is you hold the fire button while mashing the aim button. If you do it correctly, then you will cancel the fire animation of your gun into another shot about 2 frames faster than waiting through the recovery animation. So you can actually refire pretty fast that way. Sometimes squeeze in an extra shot before an enemy attacks, reduce your cycles, something like that. I could see it being pretty useful against the Birkin boss on the train in Claire B, but that's only if I was consistent at it, because if you mess it up, then Claire just drops her aim, so you can't really do that as such. And also with the grenade launcher, you have to make sure that you aim up with Claire. But anyways, yeah, so now that I've actually managed to squeeze that little tidbit of information in, everyone, thank you so much for watching. My next Resident Evil commentary will probably be either Resident Evil Remake or, I don't know, maybe some other game. We'll see. But I kind of really want to do Dino Crisis No Save, No Damage, because I don't think that's been done yet. But if you're new to my YouTube channel, please be sure to click that subscribe button if you liked what you saw. Also hit that motherfucking bell. I do this run and other speedruns live on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/CarcinogenSDA. Twitch is my full-time job, so I stream there full-time. If you wish to financially support my work, you can do so by subscribing at twitch.tv, as I do not have a Patreon. All funds go towards my bad speedrunning habit. Hacking illegal cats. You know how it works. But anyway. One hour, 8 minutes, and 57 seconds. S rank. That's the end of that. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next commentary.